One thing always helped is we never threw money at the problem, but we solved it fundamentally. I'll give you one example. There's an International Space Center with a lot of Russian and American scientists who do space research. And NASA sends a spaceship to refuel that International Space Center. The round trip for that spaceship, which takes the fuel to refuel the International Space Center, is $2 billion. Elon Musk, 6 years back, proved to NASA, which sent a human being and a monkey on moon in 1964. Elon Musk said, NASA, you are doing this job horribly. I can do a round trip with my spaceship for $120 million. And he gave a prototype, and US government gave him $70 billion contract to refuel the International Space Center for the next 20 years. Right? How that was possible? Because he took a startup approach where he said, I'm going to do things which previously did not exist, which is called innovation. I'm going to use data science. I'm going to use newer technologies, and I will solve my problem fundamentally. And you hear every 3-4 months Elon Musk come with the new things. Right? He's probably one of the most progressive thinkers, almost like in 1910 and 1920 Einstein, right? So anyhow, I actually at my level implemented that culture at ShopClues that we will never throw money at the problem, but solve it fundamentally. So we basically created a marketplace, aggregated a catalog which was never there in India before. We created fulfillment services which no marketplace offered before. We offered payment escrow. We came up with a concept called Clues Bucks, which was a loyalty points and which works great with us as an Indian consumer. If you can earn some loyalty points, it brings consumer back again and again. We actually use Clues Bucks to discourage people to buy under COD. I personally viewed COD as a cancer to Indian e-commerce because buyer never had a skin in the game in COD, and every time a e-commerce company send you a product which you refuse to accept because it was COD, and you can choose to refuse it. It costs roughly 200 rupees for an e-commerce company, and there's a 35% likelihood that the product is not in the same condition as it was sent originally to you. So I thought, if this is a situation, you can never make money in e-commerce. Because of that, I said, you will earn Clues Bucks only when you pay prepaid. You will not earn Clues Bucks if you buy anything at ShopClues with COD. And that alone tilted people. When I started, 85% of the total GMV or transaction in this country were cash on delivery. But for us, only 8% were cash on delivery. I would go to venture capitalists for the next round of capital, and they will ask, how much is your COD? And I will say 8%, and they would always think I'm missing a zero in the end. But so anyhow, this is how we solve the problems. And as you know, in January 2016, when GIC, Sovereign Fund of Singapore, led the Series E of ShopClues, it became a 5th unicorn in consumer internet. I wanted to cover 2 more topics quickly on my journey as an entrepreneur. One is that while running ShopClues, as an entrepreneur, you are always restless. You do not know when, have you arrived? Have you established the company? How far you have to go? But I remember it was probably March or April of 2013, where first time in my life, I felt that ShopClues is now a well-established name, very scalable company, 4th largest e-commerce in India, and I think it's just a matter of time. We will be an IPO candidate, we will continue to scale up, and this is a very large company now. First time in my life, I started having this feeling in, I would say, March or April of 2013. In July 2013, I go to USA, which was I maintained my residency of USA, so every 6 months I would go in order to preserve my green card. So I went with my wife and kids to USA in July 2013, and I there ran into personal trouble, which is actually well publicized. And because of that trouble, I had to be in USA for roughly 13 months. And those 13 months were trauma for me because I had to be away from my family, from my kids, from ShopClues. ShopClues, I used to work almost 19 hours per day, and I could never think about my life beyond ShopClues. I was obsessive, I was eccentric, I was very passionate, but I could not see life beyond ShopClues. So I had to be now in US because of my personal trouble. So during daytime in USA, which used to be night here, I would handle my personal trouble. And during night time in USA, which is a daytime here, I actually would run ShopClues. I did that for 4 or 5 months. And after that, I realized that it's not sustainable. So I decided to resign from the CEO position, appointed the employee number 3, whom I hired from Silicon Valley, and asked to move with me as a CEO, and appointed employee number 2, who also happened to be my spouse, to be the Chief Business Officer. And then, honestly, every day started taking out blood from my heart, soul, and start injected in them so that they can do what I was supposed to do. And that's how we ran the company. I remember in April 2014, we had run out of money, and we were using our credit cards. And the last, if you like, we had no money left, because when my personal trouble started happening, we were in the market to raise Series C at a very rewarding valuation. And after my personal trouble, nobody would touch the company. Nobody would like to fund the company because other people were not proven. And everyone who knew me, especially, was very sure that without me, they would not fund the company. Because I was faced to the company. I was to ShopClues what Bill Gates was to Microsoft, or Mark Zuckerberg to Facebook. So it became very difficult. We ran out of capital, but luckily we were able to close our Series C in May 2014, and we announced in May 2014, but around that time, I started feeling that I'm no longer experiencing headwinds. In fact, there are tailwinds in my favor. And that time, I thought I wanted to be the king of my hill again, and I launched Droom. Droom was my second company. So while the life dealt the cards with me in such a way that I became a serial entrepreneur, I always thought I would retire from ShopClues one day. Once it goes public, and I have run it for several years, maybe I will find someone else to run it, and I would retire from ShopClues. But life dealt the cards such a way that I became serial entrepreneur. But let me tell you, I absolutely love the first 3 to 4 years of building a company from a very, very unstructured, nebulous idea to full-fledged company. I think it's the world's most beautiful process when you feel strongly about something and you now first manifest is you look into the mirror and you say, I can do this, and then you develop more courage, then you write a business plan, convince 1 or 2 more people, maybe gather support from family and friends and loved ones, raise a first round of capital, create a product, create technology, hire more people, launch a company, establish value proposition, scale it up, measure it, get better, iteration after iteration and after iteration, you realize that you have created a company. When in the boardroom, you are in minority, when there are big 4 auditors auditing your company for several years, when your legal team has more than 6 to 8 people, right? That time it is no longer a startup. It's probably a corporation. And when it becomes corporation, then the room for innovation and your ability to make impact and your obsession, I think, is not that well pronounced. So anyhow, as I mentioned, I started Droom in April 2014. This time I was a bit more clinical in my approach. I came up with 52 different ideas, literally 52 different ideas. I put them into 10, 12 different parameters in terms of, what idea I feel more strongly about, which idea has higher gross margin, which requires less capital, which is more scalable, for which idea a company from USA will not come one day and kill me, which idea is more fundable, which idea has a maybe short exit, which idea I feel I am uniquely qualified. And another, obviously, one more thing is which idea has a big addressable opportunity, where can I make a billion-dollar company. These are some of the parameters I used, came up with 52 different ideas, and dropped 40 of them literally after 2 weeks of evaluating and researching, talking to people. Then dropped 8 more. Eventually left with 2. One was mobile wallet, one was Droom. When I was thinking about mobile wallet, that time, obviously there was no demonetization and so on, but still I thought market timing was, I might be slightly late, very similar to how I was at ShopClues, 35th entrant into Indian e-commerce. So I found Droom to be more attractive idea because I thought it's a perfect market timing in terms of being slightly early and yet not that early that you lose your shirt while building a company. So with that, I started Droom, raised $1.5 million from the same investors who funded me at ShopClues. And then after 13 months in USA, I came here in August 2014, second time, very similar to previous time with a one-way ticket to India. And I leased the same office where I started ShopClues 4 years back and started with 3 people, me and 2 other people. And today, as I mentioned, we are the 5th largest e-commerce company in India, doing close to 2,000 crore rupees in GMV, but only 220 employees. When ShopClues was doing 2,000 crore rupees in GMV, it probably had 1,200 employees and was probably still the best in the breed in the country, right? But because we are actually heavy into technology, data science, and IP, we have only 220 employees. Droom is available in 428 city, town, and villages across India. And I think if everything goes fine, in next year's time, we should be fully profitable. Our unit economics is far better than any other e-commerce company in this country. Just to give you a sense, e-commerce company in this country spend 12 to 18% of their GMV on marketing, and roughly 12 to 14%, or maybe 12 to 15% to run the entire company. We spend roughly 4.5% of our GMV on marketing, and we spend less than 3.5% of our GMV to run the entire company. So we don't need to recover 10, 12, 15% to be profitable. We do need to only recover 3.5% more, which we believe we can recover by first quarter of calendar year 2018. With Droom, we not only built India's most advanced marketplace, but we also created ecosystem services. So we have Orange Book Value, which is India's first and only algorithmic pricing engine. We have Eco, which is India's most comprehensive way of inspecting a vehicle. We have History, which is actually the largest national repository for India to find the vehicle's history. So if you're buying a used car, you want to know how many owners it has changed hands, is there any water damage, is there any accident claim history, is there any title dispute. All those things you can find out using Droom History, a product which we launched, and we are actually in the middle of launching something called Droom Credit, which is going to be India's first marketplace to get the loan for used vehicles. So that's pretty much is my journey. I do not know, I remember coming here, I think last year, maybe same time for the similar event, and I asked a lot of people to show the hands if they wanted to be entrepreneur. A lot of you wanted to be entrepreneur. So is that still the case? Can you show me your hands if you want to be, wow, okay. if the Droom comes to your campus for hiring, I'm assuming you are not going to sit for the campus interview. Okay, so guys, couple of things on just on a big picture. Look, I personally feel India is going through the renaissance of technology and digital revolution. In my view, we should feel very, very fortunate to be living in this era where not someone who was born with a silver spoon in their mouth will be a businessman or an entrepreneur or running a company, but someone who came from a typical middle-class family background, used cerebral power, went to the top school, graduated, and want to be an entrepreneur. This era is rewarding people with cerebral career choices, right? If you think about it, USA has created $2.4 trillion in new wealth in last 22 years. And you know what was common about people who made this $2.4 trillion wealth? They all came from middle class, they all were educated, and they all chose internet digital mobility as a way to make social transformation and wealth creation. China has created $800 billion all in new wealth from the internet industry, especially in last 10 years, right? When I landed in this country 5 years back to start ShopClues, the market capitalization of the public and private companies for the internet was 2 billion. It's probably, I know every day you read Flipkart got undervalued, Snapdeal got undervalued, and so on. These are the market cycles, but still I would peg that India has already created $30 to $35 billion in new wealth. All is created by someone who comes from a typical middle-class family background, went for education, and decided to use technology to build a world-class company. In my view, India will reach $150 to $200 billion in total wealth creation opportunity by internet sector, by digital sector by 2018, and probably $250 billion by 2020. So every one of you who raise hands, just follow your dreams, follow your passion, because this time will not come. Last thing I would say is, in my view, there are seven very big, deeply social transformation, wealth creation opportunities which have come in last 300 years. Right? One of them is a consumer internet revolution in India, which we all are part of it. You know, the first one in my view was industrial revolution in Europe in 1740, gold rush in California in 1850, rise of United States after World War I, rise of Japan after World War II, rise of China in consumer internet and manufacturing, and I would say rise of India with the consumer internet and digital. These are the modern history biggest social transformation, wealth creation opportunity, and it is rewarding consistently people like you and I. You know, India did not have local heroes. I still come from a generation when I was growing up and sitting there. India did not have local heroes whom you could relate to. Those all local heroes. By the way, in this country, I think there are 4 local heroes. One is a politician, one is a cricketer, one is a Bollywood guy, right? One is a famous industrialist who was born with a silver spoon in their mouth, with all the famous names you know. But think about it. Now, Bansals and Bahals and Aggarwals and so on have created very simple company. And by the way, by no means I'm referencing any last name. I'm just giving you I'm mentioning that as a metaphor, that it's a complete democratization of entrepreneurism, right? So if any one of you have a pain point which you think you see it different than others, if you have an opportunity which you think the time is now, and you reach to a stage where you tell yourself the regret of not doing or pursuing my dream will be bigger than anything I give up, that would be your starting of your entrepreneurial journey, and trust me, you will not regret. This time is not going to come. This country will create Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and thousands of them. if you don't do it, who will do it? So I hope all of you follow your entrepreneurial journey. And guys, that was my story. I don't know if we have a time to take any question.